Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking about how to create a notice of team meeting using SpEd forms. I'll begin by clicking my students. For training purposes today, I'll use my sample IEP. Once I'm on samples student page, I'm going to scroll down to the service plan section and click notice of team meeting. The notice of team meeting will be filled out anytime that the IEP team is going to meet formally. We want to provide that family with notice of that meeting so they know the date, time, and purpose, location, etc. We'll begin by clicking the Finalize button up at the top if there's a previous notice of team meeting that has not been finalized yet. So if there's a Finalize button up here, you'll want to begin with checking that. Make sure we don't lose our previous work. This form has already been finalized, so I don't need to worry about that. This date up in the top right corner will be the date that we're mailing the form. So I'm going to mail my notice of team meeting today. The time is going to be at 7:30 a.m. on May, let me change that to May 6th of 2022. This box right here, you'll include your location. If you're meeting virtually, you would want to include your virtual link here. If you're meeting in person, you can include that information of the room number that meeting will be held in. And in this section here, you want to include the expected duration of the meeting. I'm going to have an annual IEP meeting here, and I expect that to last about 45 minutes. This next section includes the purpose of the meeting. There are drop downs here that you can use as a starter and then individualize them for that particular student. This situation is an annual IEP review. I'm going to select this one here, which has to review samples IEP, including that extended school year discussion, and then to revise that IEP as needed. And I'm even going to add in here, it's an annual IEP meeting, and then you could add any additional information that's specific to that student in that box. Then down below here, we do have who will be expected to attend the IEP meeting. At minimum, we do have to have a parent, a special education teacher who is licensed in the student's disability category, a representative of the district, which is usually your administration, and then also a general education teacher. If the student is in grade 9 or above, or they've had transition assessed within their evaluation report, we do need to invite that student to that IEP meeting as well. And then any other related service providers could be added to this list. They'll include their first name, last name, and their title. If any title would need to include a license specific, such as autism spectrum special education teacher, emotional and behavioral licensed special education teacher, we would want to include that information next to their title. Down at the bottom of this form, we do have information of who they can contact with any questions. So we'll want to include that case manager name, position, and their phone number, or if it's somebody different than that case manager, we would want to include that there. At least once a year, we do need to provide a copy of the procedural safeguards. So if you're providing that at this time, you can check the box and initial that you enclose that procedural safeguards with the notice. My notice of team meeting is now complete, so I'm going to click Save. I'm going to mail my notice of team meeting today, so I'm going to finalize that as I'm putting it in the mail. And this meeting is an annual IEP meeting. And it's going to be on 5/6 of 22. And I'm mailing this on 4/25 of 22. Then I'm going to click Finalize, and that will put a copy of this form over into the Students History tab, which you could go directly to that History tab if you want to check what's in that student's history, or you can just X out of that. Once the notice of team meeting is finalized, you can click in your form section, and that will auto-populate any information that was saved on that notice of team meeting over under the record of team meeting. The record of team meeting can be used to document who was in attendance at that meeting. The printed version will look like this. You'll have the date of the meeting up here. Anyone attending can sign in on the sign-in sheet here. And then you'll also have that purpose of the meeting here. If you have any meeting notes that you would like to include, there is a section for that here. Any next steps. And then if you did give that procedural safeguards to the parents, we also want to check that box and initial there. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.